So I think we can talk about some movies or whatever else we want to talk about. So
yeah, so I'd say I've seen a good amount. I'll just say the ones that jump out at me rather than try to remember everything I've seen.
Go to my letterbox and see.
We Bury the Dead. That's a new indie zombie movie with Daisy Ridley of Star Wars fame and some actor whose name I forgot, but he was good. Some other people, I don't know how famous. So basically, some people might have thought a zombie movie, what is this, 2005? And I thought that too, but yeah. I'm a big fan of Daisy Ridley. She's actually one of my favorite actresses, genuinely. Like lately, she's been picking really interesting projects. This is a zombie movie that's interesting for, first of all, I'm not going to spoil how people become zombies, but it probably exists. I'm sure it exists, but I haven't really seen it, and it's interesting because it's not what you'd expect. And it's actually creepy, but at the heart of it, it's a dramatic story and a journey, a coming of age kind of journey about wrestling with trauma and stuff like that. It was really well made. I love the performances. There's a creepy moment. Well, actually, there are a few creepy moments, but there's one specifically where a zombie, this might not really be a spoiler, like they're like clenching their jaw and their teeth are like shattered, like crunching. It makes my skin crawl when I think about it. And for a horror thriller, that's something you really want, is like things that'll unsettle you and, really make you squirm. So I really like that movie. Return to Silent Hill was released. Anyway, okay, moving on.
I know a movie you would love. I don't know if you've seen it though. Sinners by.
I love, dude. Sinners was off the. Dude.
I knew you would.
That musical sequence. Are you kidding me?
You can spoil it, whatever. I didn't watch it yet, but it's on my list. So.
No, there's a musical sequence. Well, like it's not a musical. Like people start singing to have conversations. It's. People are playing music. Absolute cinema, as Martin Scorsese has said famously. Yeah, I love Sinners.
I can't think of really much I've watched over because after, having the baby, we weren't able to really go to the movies. And so we just wait till stuff comes out and whatnot.
Send Help.
I'm into the movies as much.
Send Help by
Which one was that?
The legend Sam Raimi. Finally returning to horror movies.
That sounds familiar.
A new Sam Raimi horror movie. Dude, this movie was an absolute trip. It was magic. It was just pure Raimi. And I'm like, thank you.
Okay, I found my recent likes. Okay, here we go. One that surprised me.
Don't Die.
I haven't heard of that. I don't know what that is.
Amazing movie. Starring Sam Rockwell by Gore Verbinski, who hasn't made a movie since A Cure for Wellness in 2017. He did the Pirates trilogy. I say trilogy because there are only 3 Pirates of the Caribbean movies. I don't know what you're talking about. He's just a legend, man. I love it. Loved it.
I don't really have much I could add to this besides Gladiator 2 I thought Gladiator 2 was phenomenal. I'm into those kind of action movies and stuff. Thunderbolts. I want to talk about some pop culture stuff. Like
I actually want to watch that, and I fell off of the MCU so hard. But that was pretty good.
It's slowly starting to get me back because Daredevil, Spider-Man's about to come out, Doomsday, all that stuff. Thunderbolts was good. Mission Impossible, Final Reckoning. I love the Mission Impossible movies, and that final movie was great. So that was really good. But yeah, I mean, I think the movies have been a little light. I mean, I saw Sonic 3. I thought that was good, but
I still haven't seen that one. But
Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes was interesting. We'll have to pick a movie and then do like a deep dive on the movie. But one thing I think we should do is talk about, I know we've seen some shows and like some series, but you mentioned Stranger Things. Okay.
I mentioned one last
go ahead.
Really quick movie. Project Hail Mary, dude.
I want to see that.
Phil Lord, Chris Miller, 2 of the best filmmakers. They're so good at making comedy and they're really good at integrating drama. It's essentially a Ryan Gosling one-man show for the majority of it. He's so talented, so underrated. I'm glad he's it's wholesome. I loved it. It made me happy. There was a lady sitting right next to me that was cracking up, and I loved her cracking up. all the really funny moments. Just watch it in theaters if you can, because it was just pure magic, and I was hooked all the way through.
So that's on my list too. So I'm glad you brought that up. Now, this is your fault. Okay, you mentioned Stranger
Yeah.
Things, and so we're gonna end this.
Uh-oh.
We're gonna end this with Stranger Things. All
See,
right.
look, I have a box right here. Oh no!
So okay, we got a lot we could talk about Stranger Things, which is good. We got caught up, talked about some games and some movies and whatnot, and had a good time. But we got to talk about Stranger Things because this is a serious topic right now.
Yeah.
Okay, I called in backup, so we're gonna have some backup come in and join us. But give me what you like a real broad top down. Like what did you think about Stranger Things season 5 as the ending of the series?
What did okay, I'll kind of take it in a comedic direction because I've become an established comedy actor lately. It has some of the most egregious retcons I've ever seen in any piece of media ever in my life. Even worse than Rise of Skywalker. Even worse than, think about that statement. Even worse than Rise of Skywalker. It has some oddly bad performances from really
Yes,
talented people.
yes.
It has way too many characters. It has no stakes whatsoever. It's paced like simultaneously somebody who took crack and smoked a whole bunch of weed at the same time and then wrote a TV season. The cinematography sucks. It rehashes character arcs and assassinates a few characters. And the epilogue made me cry several times, and the final shot had me weeping like a baby, and that rarely happens when I watch anything. So if that sounded really contradictory, it's because it is.
It was, in my opinion, it was pretty bad all the way up until the very, very ending. The very, very, very ending, like epilogue thing you're talking about. I think they did a good job of wrapping it up because they basically
Yeah.
ended it where it started, and you really
Yeah.
can't go wrong with that. So, yeah, it was a letdown for the entire like series because season 4, in my opinion, was the best season.
I love season 4.
I think season 1 has its charm because it is what it is. It's literally like that 80s horror,
Yeah.
type of thriller
And it's so tightly
genre.
paced too. Like,
Yeah, it's just
yeah.
good, but season 2 was okay. Season 3, I actually really enjoyed. Season 3, hey, special guest
What
Hey,
the
man.
appearance.
heck? Hey, what's up?
Okay, what's up? So we both just gave our thoughts on Stranger Things season 5.
Our broad thoughts.
Our
We
broad
could
thoughts.
say a lot more, and we will.
Perfect, perfect. You joined at a perfect time. What do you think about Stranger Things season 5?
The first word that comes to mind is disappointing.
Yeah,
And I feel like
that's
Yeah.
what we
that's like,
said.
is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I'm in agreement.
I was scared. I didn't know what you were gonna say because I mean I think I know your thoughts on it, but so go ahead, Tony.
No, can you just pretend that you loved it so we have an interesting conversation?
So we have an argument. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm sure if
I
we
love
delve
parts
into
of
it,
it, but
I'll find something I like.
Yeah,
So
there are
one
definitely parts of it, but
we just said the one thing we did like was like the epilogue, how they ended the very, very ending, where they
yeah.
ended it like it started in the basement with the kids playing Dungeons and Dragons. Like that was cool. Like that's a good way to end it with Mike being the storyteller and him narrating and all that. But that does kind of not really wrap it up in a tight way because they leave a big part of the ending open ended, which
Yeah.
is Elle
Yeah.
alive or not? So Tony, what do you think? Like, how do you interpret it? Because I interpret it a certain way.
I mean, I've seen plenty of videos from fans saying how in one way it's clearly because they focused on that radar thing that neutralized her powers and it wasn't activated. So then some people are like, well, she obviously didn't use her powers. And then as far as we know, as far as they showed us, we saw Callie die. So like, did you mean that they just acted like she died, but she was really alive and somehow from really far away doing this thing? So I mean, I don't hate that idea in isolation, but like some fans, it's like her whole story was about like fighting her abusers and stuff and finding a family through all these traumatic things. So it's like kind of take that away in a sense and not have it be clear is kind of a slap in the face.
I actually kind of agree with that, but yeah. So Kevin, what do you think about?
I definitely tend to agree with it more so because I think playing both sides is kind of like a weak or a
Yeah,
sign of
exactly.
weakness. Like, oh, I couldn't pick whether I wanted her
Yeah.
to die or I wasn't strong enough in the belief of her living and having a happy ending. And to me, and I was having this conversation with my sister yesterday of like my two other favorite shows being Game of Thrones and The Walking Dead, and both of them ended in a way so that they can continue it. And so that's what it feels like
Yeah.
if they eventually want to come back to this character, 11, come back to the Stranger Things universe, they can because they left it open. And so it just seems like with all these TV shows, they never want to truly end it because they know it makes money. And so I definitely feel like she
Yeah.
did live if they choose, like, they want to come back to it. If 11, the actress,
Yeah.
agrees to come back and the writers want to write something new, well, then she'll be alive. And if they don't, then they're like, okay, she died. And so to me, it's just a sign of weakness. And it's like, okay, well, how am I supposed to feel? Like, what is going to happen in the future? And no one knows.
It's actually so accurate.
It can't kill a freaking main character even in the last season. Get out of my face.
There
Like, why
were
are we even here?
this so Kevin, right before you joined, Tony said something that I wholeheartedly agree with. He said it is so similar to the Rise of Skywalker, where there's and then this is what I'm adding to it. There's no stakes. Like there's no stakes. It's the finale, but no one dies. Like they didn't commit to killing Chewbacca. Like yeah, okay, they killed Callie, but then they didn't commit to killing Elle. Like I would have loved, like, and it sounds terrible, but I would have loved if they just committed to something. When she was in the tank and a Hopper started shooting,
Dude,
I was,
Yeah,
bro,
I was so shook
I was
when
right.
that
like,
happened. I'm like, if they actually
dude,
have him
yes,
accidentally kill her, this is gonna be interesting. Oh, okay, no. Never mind,
yeah,
guys. It's okay. It's okay.
yep,
It'd been a game changer. It would have
game
undone
Yeah.
changer.
all that they got wrong in the beginning, where they, again, like the Chewbacca, killed somebody and then brought him back, or someone survived a death kill or a death attack, like the mom. It's,
Yes,
yeah,
yeah,
like
the
when she got
Demogorgon or
sliced
whatever.
in half, like anyone's dying for that. But again, they didn't
Yeah.
want to commit to killing anyone. It undone all of that for me.
Yeah, yep, I agree. And so then we get to the ending, and I believe that in the universe, she died. And the reason I believe that is because Tony brought up when they killed Callie, she was dead, far away from that, and she had died hours before all that. Like, there's no way she was still alive at that point.
Yeah, exactly.
There was no way. But I do see that, like, how whenever Elle was doing that, she didn't, I guess she wasn't bleeding from her nose and the thing wasn't on and whatever, whatever. But at the same time, I think that the reason it's so compelling is because Mike really is a good storyteller, which is what I liked about the ending. He was a storyteller, like, he seemed to have that vibe about him the entire series from being like the dungeon, what do you call it? Like the dungeon master or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
But so that fit his character arc to make a good, compelling story. So I think, it's fun to believe like, oh, she's alive because he told this good story. But in reality, I don't think she lived. I think it's just this is the way that these kids are gonna go on coping for the rest of their lives now after this event.
Right.
So but I don't think it made for a good I don't think it made for a good ending, personally. Like, yeah, the epilogue was good with the kids, but it does not make me wanna go back and rewatch the season. Like,
Heck no.
I'm not
No.
gonna go
Or
back
look
and
forward
rewatch
to
it.
the new project that they have coming out, like
You're
the
right.
prequel.
I'm like
Yep.
totally
Where's the
checked
hype?
out at this
Yeah,
point.
I'm
Like
checked out.
they're doing the animated show that seems to like it's in between seasons 2 and 3, and I saw like a video where a guy's talking about how like certain things seem to contradict stuff that happened even in the older seasons. Like it doesn't line up, and they're doing. It wasn't enough that they did the Broadway play about young Henry Creel. They're going to do a TV show
Dude,
about young Henry Creel. I don't care. I'm done. Goodbye. Have a nice life.
I have a friend that went to that play, like, and saw the play at Broadway for Stranger Things. The play sounded better than any of the seasons of Stranger Things. Like, the play looked and sounded amazing. I watched the documentary, so I, like, saw some of it in documentary form, but the story of it and everything, it is like a perfect setup. And then just for them to drop the ball when they actually reveal Henry Creel in the cave and all that stuff in season 5, they just dropped the ball with it.
And
Right.
dude, the freaking reveal of what the upside down is that we've been waiting for was so
Yeah.
I literally checked out that. I think that was when like it's not another dimension, even though we've clearly seen it's another dimension. It's a bridge to some place we only found out about at the end of season 4 and hasn't been talked about until right now. Okay, yeah, it's this thing. Okay, bada 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 boom 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 action scene.
Well,
Okay, and
yeah,
now we're done and we're never coming back
and
here.
you're
Like
right,
what?
but the why am I blanking on the directors' names? But anyways, they were in the Duffer Brothers. They were in
Yeah,
a interview and they said that they knew what the upside down was from the very beginning. No, you didn't. You just came up
yeah,
with that.
no, no,
It's
yeah,
just like what they did with the Rise of Skywalker. Oh, we've had this planned since the beginning. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You just came up with this on the spot. And I can't like Kevin said, it's is disappointing and it's just lazy. It's just it doesn't make me look forward to future projects, even if they're prequels, even if they're sequels. Like I'm just, it's like Star Wars. I'm just, you're losing me. You're losing
yeah,
me.
Right. I think it's their biggest problem right now is immersion. Like, if you're gonna do something like so futuristic, so sci-fi, so like unbelievable with stakes, like world stakes, and then not be able to back that up with any sort of deaths or anything, like that immersion of like no fear of anybody. Once it's broken, man, it's hard to come back. And they ended on it. That's the last taste you have of the entire show. Okay,
yeah.
when we saw the couple trapped in that like glue room, where it looked like they were gonna die, didn't die. When you have
Oh, when she was falling,
she's
bro.
falling, yeah, Finn's sister falling,
Yeah, it's been a few months now, but yeah, I
yeah,
And
can't.
then
I can't remember.
Vecna's
Yeah,
powers being so inconsistent because he caught her from that far away, but then he can't pull Holly, who's being dragged by Derek through a
yo,
crevice
yo,
like 3 feet in
yes,
front
that's
of his
so true.
face.
Derek,
Dude,
Derek's the
what
goat,
did
man.
oh my god, like Vecna. I mean, I don't think Vecna should have ever been a thing because the whole appeal of Stranger Things, in my opinion, was always the eldritch Lovecraftian horror, like this like big evil that's like a smoke monster. It's incomprehensible. It's just there, looming over you. Like at the end of season 2, that was such a banger shot because it's like that idea of like there's a powerful force that's outside of you and watching you, and you can't do anything about it, dude. You're cooked. Try
Right.
and and then it's like, oh no, there was actually some guy in charge of everything the whole time, and he had this grand plan. It's like, what was he doing for 3 seasons then?
Right. And then
Sleeping?
like
Like, come
the
on,
end fight scene with between Vecna and 11, I
like
mean, like
that
if you
was
play Marvel Rivals,
bad.
his attack move was just like with Groot, was like Groot, like
Bro,
just one
just
hit left, right, just dodge left, right. It was just like very weak, very again, like, and you had no fear of 11 lose. Like, did anyone think that 11 was gonna lose that fight? Did anyone
No.
think anyone was gonna die? And so when you have no fear, that you have no immersion of like, oh, is she actually gonna die? Is there any fear that, well, you know that she's gonna win, Vecna's gonna die. It's like you're just waiting for it to happen.
And
You know,
then
it's
the
just
freaking when they showed the physical mind flayer, which I think is kind of a dumb idea, but if it would have been set up, it would have actually been cool. I was like, this is gonna be like the whole rest of the season is them fighting the final boss. Now they beat it in like 30 minutes, like it's a raid in Monster Hunter. It's like what? How?
yeah, yeah.
Like I have spears and Molotov cocktails, and we beat this thing that's been looming over us for years. Okay.
yeah. I think you
Yeah.
really felt like them handicapping themselves because they really wanted that happy ending. And you see that with 11. Like the only question, like or like the only like cliffhanger, even then they still want you to believe in the happy ending. That's why they made Wolf or
Yeah.
Finn, give that amazing story. So when you have that, when you get in the mind flare, part, when you get in the Vecna 1v1, it's just like nothing's bad's gonna
Nothing
happen.
matters. Yeah,
Right? Nothing matters.
nothing matters.
So it's just really disappointing with how they went that, especially in the hype. I don't know if you guys remember, like in the lead up to the season, they all the actors were coming out. Oh, there's gonna be the most deaths this season. Like, prepare
That's
yourselves.
what made me upset. Yeah,
And I'm like, oh,
there was
you
no
set
death.
expectation, you set the bar a certain way, and then you just did a 360, and it's just Just
It was bad
disappointing.
it was bad even at the beginning though, because think about the end of season 4. Vecna opened these rifts and the upside down's leaking into Hawkins. Oh my god. Everything is about to ramp up. The beginning of season 5,
None of it.
everyone's doing a podcast and the government just put some big sheets of metal over all the rifts and now scientists are doing stuff in a lab down there and everyone's just kind of chilling like it's Last of Us, except there's no dramatic tension whatsoever. It's like
So
that was
yeah,
my first
disappointing.
red flag where I was
Yeah, me
like,
too.
oh, so it's not just gonna be like it should have been like Terminator, but with Vecna and the
Yeah.
Demogorgons and stuff.
It should have been
just
literally a post-apocalyptic world.
yeah.
Like where they're surviving, not like let's do a podcast, guys. Like leave that for us.
Yeah.
It's very similar to, like, I don't know, I know this is, like, a different franchise, but, like, the Resident Evil movies, does anyone remember, like, Apocalypse, where it literally ended kinda exactly like season 4, where it ends on, like, it's setting up the next movie is gonna be about, like, this post-apocalypse, and then the next movie begins, and it's just something completely different.
Yeah.
And so it's just, like, again,
I've been trying to watch those movies. I watched up to 3 and I just can't bring myself to watch anymore. 3 was so boring.
Right.
God,
And I don't mean, like, change the subject, but, like,
no,
again, it's very similar in that where, like, it set up the expectation, the hype, the lead up, the actors talking about the show. They set an expectation, and then they completely changed it. And so I don't really know where that came from. I don't know why they chose to do it that way, but
they should have just made
don't stick the
season
landing.
5 a trilogy of movies. Or like 2 movies, I don't know. Instead of like a whole show, because then it's like you can't introduce such a big ramp up of stakes and then have a whole show, because then people will be like feeling like there's no urgency.
Especially if they wait so long between seasons. Like it was like what, 3 or 4 years
3
between.
years now.
Yeah, it was
How about you
disappointing.
film them simultaneously? How about that?